연패 탈출이
Welcome back
절실했던
everybody to the
하나생명과
analyst
분위기가
desk
좋은
of the
다이나믹스가
Friday night
만났습니다.
LCK 2020 Summer Split. It was Hanwha versus Dynamics, and Dynamics was the one taking away the win against the opponent. Let's talk about the draft first. Hanwha Esports, they had two marksmen in their comp, looking for the late game high speed carry. By Dynamics, they outranged them in many ways, especially their comp is much easier to pull off. For Hanwha Esports, they had Karma, Kindred, which had a really high priority in mid and jungle. So they can put a lot of pressure in the opponent bot lane. So we needed this organic rotation with the mid and jungle synergy, but they are actually having a different path all around the map. So maybe Hanwha needed to earn more points in the early game. Hanwha once again took the Kaisa and Nautilus comp for the bottom lane, so we can see that they were trying a lot of combo and synergy with these two picks. They hooked on the Galio going to the base. However, Galio walked away alive using his exhaust. So with this failed attempt, well, Hanwha they had to slow down their snowballing speed. This is another combo coming from Kaisa and Nautilus. But to be honest, that was only one kill. They weren't able to snowball into the game sides. At first, they used all the ultimate own to Ezreal, so they had to actually let the opponent to take the dragon. And in their second attempt, they only got a kill, nothing more. They do have a confidence on this pick and combo, but this does not have a huge impact in the later phase of the game. And that maybe that is why Kaisa is having a very low win rate. And this was a very absurd teamfight attempt from Hanwha Esports. Once again, they are outranged by Dynamics player. With this pressure that they have to open fight before they get chunked down with the poke damage, they were rushing in. Well, first off, Hanwha had a very difficult comp to pull off, but with that clumsy teamfight attempt, well, there was no way for Hanwha to find the space to kind of get a win out of that fight. Most of all, the set initiation, Cubet's engage was not on point. At the same time, he does understand why Cubet kind of pulled off a huge blunder in that fight, because he understands that Cubet must have been feeling a lot of pressure as the initiator role in this team. Let's check out the player of the game on the side of Dynamics. Kuzan and Azir. This game around, Kuzan was locking in a hyper carry or the damage dealing champion instead of a supportive champion, which was his main kind of role in this team. Good Azir player, they always Shurima Shuffle inside to kind of destroy or disrupt the position of the enemy player. In addition to that, his itemization was also really smart. In terms of Karma and Azir matchup, it is easier for Karma to roll throughout the game, but Kuzan was really smart holding on to the power spike that he can get in the later phase. So Kuzan was sharing some of his votes. The support player Guger also doing a great work on Galio picks. Now it's time to check out whether it's gonna be an early night to close out today, or whether it will Hanwha Esports will extend the day.
Thank you, Ji-sun, once again for the great translation there of the analyst desk. As we're jumping into game number 2 in just a moment, Hanwha down a game to Team Dynamics. Kuzan able to pick up the player of the game, had a very clean Azir. You've been seeing mainly clean Azirs today, and it's becoming more and more popular here in the LCK. I suppose it always has been since its release. And another question, can Viper actually carry his team? As it seems like, as a whole, they have been a bit helpless, LS.
Yeah, they have seemed pretty lost inside of the games, and this is always the scariest trial for star or elite players to walk, where when your teams are losing all the time, how long until you break yourself and you just give up the motivation to remain at the level that you're at because you think, well, what's the point to try this hard if it just doesn't matter, if it doesn't result in anything? So it is very, very worrying. Viper tried that game, but I mean, he was on a not a very ideal champion for the whole situation.
Yeah, the Kaisa is 0-4 so far after that game, and I think that it's been Viper every single time, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe it is time to just shelve it and go for something a little bit more meta. Wouldn't mind it, to be honest. As we're hopping into pick ban again.
Well, see if Ezreal ends up biting the dust.
Ezreal is definitely... we did see that, actually. Duckdom, he does like playing the Ezreal. He struggled a little bit on it in his series against Afrika, I believe it was. Yeah, against Afrika. But it is actually going to be banned this time around.
And this means that Aatrox is open for Rich. If he does want it. Honestly, okay. B1 Trundle.
B1 Trundle. That's as good as it gets.
Oh, okay, well, Volibear, now here's the thing, is they might actually pick Volibear, and then Rich just gets to play Aatrox and
have fun.
I'm really not looking forward to this. I can already see the ensuing weeks of Volibear having an insufferable time in LPL and LCK, and then it having positive times elsewhere, and the arguments that will ensue. But the champion can't come in blind. The other thing is, Trundle is in the game already, which is going to harm him in the later stages. Syndra picked up, and then immediately Dynamics responded with Kalista, which is very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially outranging yourself immediately. It's almost like they looked at a tier list of 80 carries right now, and they're like, well, up next is Kalista. And...
bread and butter, though.
Yeah.
Kalista Galio, a very strong combo of old. Hanwha Life now, at this point, they could just lock in 80 carry. Alternatively, they can get their jungler right now.
And Talia comes in. I mean, this is not something that we see very often. I like that Hanwha Life, now that things aren't necessarily working out, they're like, well, let's try something new. And I'm curious to see how they're going to go along with this. Notice that Aatrox was not picked up for Rich, so he may once again be forced onto something else.
Yep.
Well, he'll definitely be forced onto not Aatrox. But we'll see if maybe he can throw in another Mordekaiser.
If the Talia is jungle or AD or where she's going to actually end up. This is a very concealed draft so far by Hanwha Life. As Volibear, I mean, he can actually go jungle.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty avid believer that his best role is probably support and then jungle, and then it's top. But I'm not sure how far down the line Korea is with experimenting with him, because everyone pretty much is only playing him top. Alistar and Pantheon both banned away, so Dynamics respecting at least the Talia Pantheon.
Yeah, there you go.
that can exist. And Xayah is being hovered right now, but there's no hard engage that Xayah is dodging. So Xayah was one of the beneficiaries of the AD carry item changes, given the amount of crit items that she does get. Gets a little bit of extra value there, but still just a very out of place lock-in. Jace does not, I mean, he can bully Volibear, he doesn't beat Volibear. And if Volibear just gets on top of him once, the lane's over. And what I mean by that is, does Jace end up getting offset with a worse recall one time, or actually just outright killed? Then Volibear will take over. The other really worrisome thing here for Dynamics is they're lacking real true damage so far. Oh man, what is this draft?
Not the first time you've said that today. Rakan seems obvious afterwards, as it should be Talia jungle, Volibear hitting up top, Rakan bottom side. The Lovers duo.
Well, it is going to be Volibear top against Jace. And we'll see. So Jace can bully him in the early laning phases, and obviously if a sizable enough advantage is secured, then Jace will continue to just bully him for the remainder. The LeBlanc into the Syndra, this actually favors Syndra if you're proficient enough at the matchup. Talia, very good into Trundle. And then the Lovers duo down there in the bot lane, so it seems like Lehens and Viper are just going to try to take over, but they're walking into a counter matchup. So everything is really all over the place. It feels like this is entirely player-led on both sides, and they're just playing what they want to play.
Yeah. And that does sometimes happen, especially at the lower end of the table, where, you know, the players won't have as deep of champion pools, and they'll feel comfortable mostly on, you know, 2 or 3, or a certain style of champion that may not mesh well together with the rest of his teammates. And, I mean, we're seeing it in effect right now. Curious to see if Lava's going to pilot the Syndra to a extremely high level in this one, up against the LeBlanc, see if he can actually win the matchup, as looks like we're ready to jump into game 2 right now. Let's do it.
Well, at this point, we're just going to have pretty defensive openings by both parties. It's just a 5-point spread for the most part. Cuvée going press the attack here against Rich on Jace. A little bit surprising. I think that Volibear has many different rune choices, and in the Jace matchup in particular, Aftershock and Phase Rush are both 2 really strong options. The press the attack is a little bit awkward because it's hard to really get onto Jace without gank assistance, and when you do, typically you're not on him for long. And so maybe Cube's taking the press the attack for his teammates in the later stages of the game.
Yeah, definitely could be. I was getting in a you know, quick pit stop. I had an equipment change, as my mic was a little bit out of whack, but we got it all fixed now. That's good. Thank you for holding on and being the lone survivor of the cast there for just a moment.
Not
again.
Yeah, not a big deal. Not a big deal.
You're becoming more and more experienced at this.
And so right now Rich is trying to poke out Cuvée, trying to zone him from whatever CS he possibly can. Will make him miss 1. And Cuvée does have the Doran shield. So again, we'll see how Rich manages to play this lane out. Everything else is pretty standard for the most part. We'll see what Haru can try to find for his team in terms of ganks. Cougar missing the Justice Punch. As Wave 2 is just going to be crashed in. Beyond.
Oh,
boy. Man.
Yeah, Haru's going to have a okay, nice seismic shove. He's still got Pillar, though, and the red buff is hitting him. Red buff does get that little bit of a slowdown, but it's not quite going to kill the Taliyah at the end of that trade.
Yeah, the issue here is that clearly Beyond is aware of what's going on. Haru just really, really slow on trying to do his camps, and even though he has the smite available, the threshold just not there enough, and now flash for flash, and Beyond's just going to take Haru's entire jungle.
Yeah, Haru is like, you know, he puts down the ping, but he's saying, okay, maybe we can come over here and help me out a little bit. I'm not really sure exactly what this Taliyah is going to do. Really rough spot. He's like waiting to pick up the scraps. Okay, yeah, thank you very much. That feels real bad.
Yeah. And you can see the question mark ping saying that maybe there would be I mean, he's missing everything.
Yeah.
He's taking so much damage.
Definitely struggling.
From Raptors, too. I mean, he might just be tilted into oblivion. I'm not totally sure.
I know when that happens to me in solo queue.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not a pro, but like that is one of the most tilting things. When you get invaded and you just lose your whole jungle.
Yeah.
It's rough. I mean, especially on a champion like Taliyah, who struggles a little bit before she gets her jungle item for the clear.
Yeah.
And then once you get it, it feels so much better. You're just put so far behind, and it's not like you're gonna have a big impact on the lanes for quite a while. So.
And it's going to be very hard for Haru to really do anything here. I mean, he's pretty much at this point, as is. Everyone is playing with map hacks against him. And with the lanes being the way that they are, things are definitely going to be very awkward. Also, Lava stifling his build a little bit with the double Doran's ring and the Amp Tome. Kuzan obviously taking the more economic route. And Beyond is already back to his respawn camps. Meanwhile, up in top lane, interestingly enough, Rich only getting a double longsword recall. And the wave's frozen with his jungler on that side. You also know that Taliyah's camps are respawning on the top, so I'm not totally sure why he would unlock the wave rather than just freeze it. Especially because level 6 is still ways away.
Oh, this is... it's real awkward. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, at least he's going to scan the ward. Beyond throws up the thumbs up at the same time. Says, that's all good.
Yeah.
Says, okay.
In Cube, though, I mean, Rich is not doing that good of a job at exerting a lot of pressure over Volibear, and so even though Cube is falling behind in CS, it's definitely not the end of the world by any means. Everything is pretty standard all around.
That Volibear skin was pretty cool, by the way.
Do you like it? Really?
He looks very purple.
Did you ever see, I talked about this with Atlas, M. Night Shyamalan's The Village?
Yeah, I did actually.
So if that skin had a yellow chroma, he would be the monster.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does it not have any chromas?
There's no chromas. It's, let me check out the name of this skin. I think it's Thousand Eyes Pierce?
Why doesn't every skin have chromas?
Okay, listen.
It feels like that's, I don't know, you know, to be honest, kind of just like money sitting on the table, right? And also to give everybody their kind of customization that they want, right?
Yeah,
it's be any color.
It's called Thousand Pierced. Now, I'm not sure.
Thousand Pierced.
Yeah, that's the name of the skin. Thousand Pierced. Now, you might be wondering, and I definitely hear the curiosity and wonder in your voice. Thousand Pierced what, LS? And honestly, Valdez, Thousand Pierced drafts is what made Volibear look as tormented as he does currently.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a little bit sad. Is that what's going to happen to you eventually? Like, You see 1,000 Pierce drafts and then you turn into Volibear, or?
Looking at my future self, actually.
Yeah,
yes.
Tormented LS. You just turn into a League of Legends character.
True.
Imagine how cool it would be to have a character based off of you, though. That would be pretty cool. Well, I guess we already do have one you have set. So.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You are literally set.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not exactly fair that you already have your champion, but apparently it already exists for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can't say the same for everyone.
Well.
Wow. Wish we could zoom out this far while we're playing.
You have a champion of your own.
Do I?
Yeah. Heimerdinger.
Thanks.
Big brain.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, just like me.
Yeah.
I identify as a Heimerdinger. Sounds so weird. I don't know, maybe not. Seen a lot of pings here around this Rift Herald. Lava is able to somehow shut that down. They're trying to burst down DYN here, and he is going to actually bite the dust. We also have TP coming in. Okay. Lahen says, actually, never mind. And the stun is going to come down. One more auto couple. No, it is going to be enough, and he does pick up the kill at the end of the day, and a very proactive Hanwha Life there is able to pick up a couple of kills in the bottom lane.
They get themselves on the board. A very much needed time. Beyond does pick up the Rift Herald, and we'll see what he ends up doing with it. As, yeah, it's really hard for Volibear to do anything. Because whenever Jace just does the transform, his movement speed is high enough to actually run away from Volibear. And also, I don't know if QV is actually maxing Q. You should max Q in this matchup. And this is another reason why Phase Rush
gonna take aggro, and he gets away. Beyond, though, is able to survive himself as Manaless Talia with red buff who's so far behind is not able to do too much against the Jace, who is a little bit scary with that serrated Dirk.
Yeah. And so, very curious what is going on. Honestly, he's building Triforce. This is a loss to Shopkeeper. So with Jace, Trundle, and Kalista, you get so much value out of Thornmail. And so just getting the Bramble Vest early, such high impact. So here in this replay, I mean, this is just a bread and butter execution onto Cougar and DYN. Lava comes in, uses his ultimate right away, and follows up with the stun, but Cougar flashing in a bit of a peculiar manner. But yeah, I mean, you go back up into top lane, and you see the Ninja Tabi, you see the Doron shield, and if you get Bramble Vest, your sustain in lane against Jace is so much better. But also the value, even against Trundle. But it looks like he just wants to power right into Trinity Force, and I know that in Korea right now especially, everyone is seemingly divided on Volibear itemization.
Yeah. It's still up for debate, I suppose. Everybody's still trying to figure it out. It's still very early on for this champion. So we'll have to wait and see what the eventual accepted couple of builds will be. We do have Talia here. Haru is going to start up the Ocean Drake. And bottom lane a little bit zoned away from this one. Even the middle side having a little bit of trouble getting in there. They might want to take a fight afterwards, as they're not able to deny.
I mean, Kuzan has no mana, so quite literally 0 mana. As Rich is going to shove in yet another wave, maybe look to get a turret plate here. And Cuvee not wanting to actually invest his teleport. And so this is going to mean that 2 turret plates go down, and Cuvee is going to miss a cannon.
Why didn't he TP? I mean, I guess he really wants to be there for the Infernal Drake. But he's losing so much individually up in the top side.
Yeah,
and
I'm not
beating Rich.
Okay.
Maybe he wanted to freeze.
Now, well, Volibear has a really hard time freezing, but Volibear also has some tools to freeze. Like he can cast the E at the very edge of the wall and then just get the shield and stand still, and then use the E's shield to drop his passive and then go back to freezing. And so it's mostly about juggling his E shield and then
you still
Wing.
found a way, though.
Huh?
You still found a way.
There's definitely ways to freeze on Volley. Just requires a little bit of creativity. But instead of that, we're actually just going to shove it into Jace. Now, with how far Jace is ahead right now, is if he just took that wave and froze, Volibear would be out of the game. He would have to run places that he can't do anything. He's already down a level and a half. Jace has Black Cleaver. Volibear's building Trinity Force while behind. Lost a Shopkeeper. Honestly, I really have to hit up the Shopkeeper. I gotta figure out how they manage to convince people into these deals so often. Well, it really is spectacular.
You gotta make your items very convoluted and hard to understand. Although, as I'm saying that, I'm like, it's not actually that difficult. I feel like just most people don't pay attention to it as an important part of the game. Whereas something that you definitely focus on a little bit more, especially compared to pro gamers who I think are mostly focused on their gameplay, which, you know, for better or for worse.
Well, we'll see what ends up happening. So the way that I'm imagining these team fights is everyone on Hanwha Life is so squishy now. And even Volibear, once he completes the Trinity Force, he's going to be about half to maybe even 3/4 of an item behind. He's going to run into the team fight, get subjugated, be even less tanky than he already is. He's really struggling. He's going to press the R, and it's going to be like cannonballing into a pool, but no one really likes your cannonball.
Oh,
you know,
that's
those
the worst.
Those are really the worst. Like you miss the floaty that
Nobody's
you tried to land on.
enjoying it, yeah.
Yeah.
Flop over the other side.
Exactly. I'm glad you get me. No.
Not very impressive at all. Everybody kind of just stares at you. It's definitely it's kind of a Pepe Hands moment whenever that happens. I always feel bad. But now, so instead of freezing and trying to set up a gank, we are pushing and trying to set up a gank.
Yes.
And, yeah, you see what I'm saying? 5-head. No, maybe I suppose maybe they're trying to get on top of this Rift Heralds, but I don't know if that's realistic.
It's a post-plate Herald, so it's not super high priority. And the surprising thing is that Dynamics, I mean, they're ahead right now, and you can see that Rich has to, okay!
Trying to set it up, but Flash will do the trick. And how about a follow-up here? They're trying to get in on there, as the ult is going to come out here from the Volibear.
It's still a victory, though. They get Volibear's ultimate out right before the Infernal Dragon. And so Cuvée will not have that available. Viper trying to get something accomplished, not going to be able to. Beyond trying to pick up the Rift Herald before this Infernal Drake.
Yeah. Should be pretty good timing. They're trying to turn this one around, though, onto Rich once again, but here's Beyond. That's a double knockup, but does it matter? As Talia, she's got that one burst combo, but if you don't have enough...
Oh, Lava is so lucky that the chain missed.
He could have been flash followed and just died. At the end of that one, could have been a nice 2 for 0 in favor of Team Dynamics.
And Black Cleaver Yumu's already completed for Jace. He's level 12. Is Cuvée still 10?
Can't actually see.
Yeah.
He's dead, but no, he's 11.
He's 11.
Okay.
And Beyond is here now.
I don't think that Team Dynamics should let them have this here, but...
No, I mean, Dynamics are very favored in this team fight.
Okay,
very,
the TP
very
is going to come in as they're trying to roll here onto Duck Dom, but he doesn't jump on the left side of the wall because that would have meant his death. And so the wall doesn't do much, as actually a nice couple of poking gets in there. Big distortion from Kuzan for the follow-up to take out that extremely squishy bear. That's basically like a teddy bear right now. Not very ferocious, IMO. And that is going to mean the Infernal that, again, they were very favored coming into this one.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, lots of XP lost in the top lane.
Yeah, and I really like the Observer for constantly zoning in on this. And this is another, I mean, the Jace versus Volibear matchup, with how Rich played it, it actually could have been a lot better for Cuvée. But it still doesn't change the point that you shouldn't blind pick this champion. He's not blind pick worthy. It's not even really pick worthy most of the time, to be super frank. I mean, we have yet to see him in the jungle and support. I'm actually more surprised that Hanwha Life wouldn't try to experiment with that. And, I mean, he just gets annihilated here.
Yeah. Look at how sad Talia is.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel very good in
And
this
then
one.
right here, yet again, Leroy Jenkins gets exhausted, doesn't really have anything to do. He just doesn't deal damage, and he's never going to get sustained damage here.
Watch him get popped by a balloon.
Yeah.
Here.
Really good pillar.
Yeah.
By Beyond.
Duckdom says, get over here, Googer. Googer's like, why? And the Fate's Call kind of wasted there. Okay, everything's going to be wasted there as well. Lava is not going to be able to land the stun, and they cannot follow up with a potential kill onto the Jace, who is a bit squishy himself. Had he landed that, I think maybe they could have gotten him with no flash on the Jace right now, but he took a risk. It did not pay off.
Well, dynamics now just slowly accruing more and more map control. Still so many jungle camps up, by the way, for Beyond. Very, very surprising. As the game continues to move on, though, things are only going to get worse for Hanwha Life. Next Infernal Dragon should also be slated to go to Dynamics, and that is a very big problem. For Hanwha Life.
Infernal for LeBlanc Jace is pretty hilarious.
Yep.
And they have no tanks on their team. Like, not even one.
Volibear was supposed to be a tank.
Yeah, he's supposed to, but he's not.
He's going for the 20-minute Triforce.
Is Rakan more tanky than Volibear right now? Yes. That, yeah, tells you a lot about their current scenario. I mean,
the icing on the cake would be if Volibear goes Bramble Vest now, after Triforce.
Well, he doesn't have enough money, so we're not even gonna get to see that just yet.
2 minutes until that Infernal comes up. Banshee's Veil going to be the next item for Kuzan. Trying to do some smoke and mirrors here to take out the blue, as Haru and Lehans do not seemingly want to give up the Scuttle. They're going to end up picking that up for themselves. And you can see right now Lava shadowing Cuvée. As Kuzan just going to clear out a bit of vision. Everyone from Hanwha Life.
Well, let's see who wins this fight. He's trying to bait him in for the Syndra. Not quite able to lock him down, though. He's going to get that bit of a slow. Here comes the Syndra. The stun is going to miss again, and the ult does not pick him off, as Lava is just not really able to land a lot of these very crucial combos that you need on the Syndra in times where they need to find something like picks such as that to come back in this game.
They end up blowing Cuvé's flash, and so we won't have that again. And I mean, Volibear is so reliant on stuff like this. He also uses his ultimate. I mean, it's champion, yeah. And also, I mean, the really weird thing is I don't know how Lava misses this, because Jace at several points was a stationary target in the whole trade sequence. So definitely a very, very off game on the Syndra. As Rich is now looking to try to raise this turret. Here we go, TP in from behind. This should be it.
Pillar is actually going to go in front. They're just ganging it up as Beyond is going to get ulted. He gets away after all of that, as Kuzan says, I'd like to get in there and do a little bit big, nice 3-man knockup as the Galio is frontlining. And that is just going to be 3 kills for 0 so far. Not going to follow under that turret. They've already got so much after that play. Big follow-up from Team Dynamics as nothing seems to go right for
Hanwha saved him. Which is, I mean, wait for the replay. As I'm sure many people are eager to see it again. It is now a 4,000 gold lead. Actually, a little bit more than a 4,000 gold lead. Double Infernal, threatening Infernal Soul now. Just take a look at this. So, Rich goes in, gets stunned. Cube turning around for no reason. He had Rakan coming in. Even if he takes damage, it doesn't matter. The Taliyah wall bumps him even further to the left. Everything is just a disaster, but, I mean, Cube turning around instead of kiting into Jace. I just have no idea.
This is a pretty combo. We've seen this one before.
Allergic to the grass, I guess. I'm not sure. As yeah. The Kalista sending in the Galio, multi-man taunt, very easy cleanup, and Dynamics are just light years ahead now.
Yeah. Teddy Bear is a little bit more accustomed to the bed sheets rather than the Rift. Is what I'm seeing. He's very. He looks very fluffy.
The other thing,
not very threatening.
By the way, at this point is Haru. He built an Oblivion Orb.
Oh, I think he's just dead.
Yeah. Totally fine.
He had to flash too.
Well, he can go back to the fountain and think about his item choices here, as he built Oblivion when the opponents had all MR. So
yeah, every single
the Amp Tome should just go towards then a Blasting Wand and then a Void Staff, which is very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like nothing really is going right for this team so far in Summer.
Game number 1 and game number 2 started off really slow. Everything conducts itself pretty normally. Beyond had a phenomenal jungle start here over Haru. And then Hanwha Life were really playing with a bit of a disadvantage up in top lane. And then the follow-up is that because of the matchup dynamic, Viper and Lens could not really manage to achieve anything meaningful and never really come online. So a lot of difficulty here in this game.
It's like, I think I got him, and then a very elated, nice from Kuzan. He definitely feels like the carry of this team to me, by the way. Just watching more of Team Dynamics, because, you know, the game right now, to be honest, there's not too many interesting things to talk about. It kind of just feels like Hanwha Life are getting crushed, so I don't really want to harp on it too much, but for Team Dynamics, it does feel like Kuzan is kind of reaching a new level. It's like he went into the hyperbolic time chamber that is Challengers Korea, of course, the best tournament in the world, and he has come out looking really, really strong. Very consistent, plays a much wider champion pool than he used to. He used to be like Lucian LeBlanc, Karma, pretty much. Now he plays a bit more, right? He can play the Azir. We already saw on a really amazing Azir in the last game. So I'm really excited about this player, and the team seems to really build around him and support his play style. And they seem to have really good communication too, so they have a lot of potential in the LCK for sure.
Well, Dynamics are really, really continuing to cement the fact that they might be the 5th or even 4th, realistically, strongest team here. Definitely looking like a clean 5th.
Team Dynamics?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be their 4th series.
Judging the power level of all the teams that have played thus far.
Yeah, it does feel like 4th to 6th is probably where I'd go. It depends on, you know, it's hard to put them at 4th though because of T1 Zenji, DRX, and now Damwon.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty strong. They're probably 5th.
Yeah.
I'd say right now.
5th is safe, I think, to say.
We need to see them against Afrika again. We already did see that Afrika took that series. But, you know, still a new team to the LCK. We're getting the big zoom in on the teddy bear. Again, not very threatening.
And the Infernal Soul's up in 6 seconds. I mean, Viper's just going top lane. They're not even going to bother fighting over it. There's really no hope. This is 3 Infernal Dragon amplification. And in addition to that now, the Soul. So LeBlanc just got 4 AD and 11 AP off this last dragon.
Yeah.
So
he's on a ward there.
Couple hundred gold worth of stats just off of that alone.
Not to mention the
active of the Soul. Yep.
I guess it's not an active, but it's like a
proc.
A proc. I guess
passive.
It's not a passive either. I think it's a proc. I think you hit the nail on the head there. So we do have the Baron available with Team Dynamics miles ahead. Lehens, he likes to go for his cute little flank plays. We've seen it a lot, actually, on Rakans in the past. We saw it from him in Game 1 on Nautilus. Not to the greatest of effects based on the game state, but it's still the kind of play style that he likes to go for. As that time, Kuzan actually fell flat on his face with that engage. And Duckom's just soloing it.
Yeah, Duckom seems like he's actually able to do this. How many,
He needs a little bit of help.
34. All right.
You can see it down there in the bottom left. Okay, the engage comes in for the turn as Lehens gets a very nice engage, but it just doesn't matter. There is 0 follow-up from the side of Hanwha Life as they're just getting smoked down by the Trundle and by the entire enemy team. As Lava, really nice pillar there. That's going to be the end of this one, guys.
Yep, and they have the minion wave in mid.
Yeah, not very close, unfortunately. But Team Dynamics looking pretty strong coming into yet another series. They're going to shut down Hanwha Life Esports in a clean 2-0 in very methodical fashion. GG, down goes the Nexus. And they will move up to 3-1, actually, as a team that is new to the LCK from Challengers Korea. Looking good so far. You can see all happy faces in the lineup. Everybody's smiling over there. The coach comes over. He's got a smile on. I'm kind of not looking forward to seeing the other side of the aisle, though.
Yeah.
LS.
Well, Hanwha Life continue their losing streak.
Yeah.
And everything just looks very bizarre in the gameplay.
Yeah.
There's Rich, who had a nice Jace game, even if the early laning phase had him going pretty even, almost, with Volibear for the most part, but beyond having a phenomenal jungle performance, really helping out at several points. Obviously, the Kalista ultimates with Galio at several points were very game-changing too.
Yeah.
So Dynamics can feel pretty good about everything that is unfolding so far for them in the LCK. And they still have a couple of easier matches that are still going to be coming up. I think it's going to be very interesting to see them when they eventually collide with the other top teams inside of the league. What is going to end up happening there, because they really win as a unit.
Yeah. It's not really any one individual performance. I know I was highlighting Kuzan, especially because he's kind of a veteran in the scene. He's been around for quite a while, but never really had a successful team, really. You know, he's been on Jin Air, he's been on Hanwha, I believe, for a little bit, Hanwha Life. And their next matchup is going to be against DRX. So you were asking for some challenges. That's a huge challenge, because I think those players individually, as a whole, pretty much everybody on DRX, I think, should be ahead.
Oh, yeah. Maybe jungle.
You think maybe jungle
Is
beyond over Pyosik?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think Pyosik is getting better, but I can see where you're coming from for sure.
Well,
that's a very interesting matchup. That's next Thursday, actually.
And then after that, they have Sandbox as their follow-up match. So they have an interesting 1-2 week. And as for Hanwha Life, they have a couple of difficult matches coming up. They have Damwon and Afrika.
Oh boy. Yeah, I can't see that going well, to be honest. And then
Sandbox versus Hanwha Life.
Oh boy. Yeah, it does feel like we're halfway through the second week, and I feel like towards the halfway to the end of the second week is around the time where we begin to feel out, you know, where is this team exactly? You know, how do they match up against some of the other teams? And it does feel like, to be honest, that Hanwha Life and Sandbox are down towards the bottom. Well, it'll be interesting to see who can come ahead in that one. For right now, I would have to, I'd have to favor Sandbox, but we'll see how that one does happen.
And one of the things is that even when Hanwha Life manages to accrue advantages, it doesn't seem to really matter in the later stages of the game because the team fighting and cohesion is just really not there. So many things look very off-kilter inside of the game, and Viper, I mean, bringing him in, yes, it's good, but not going to be enough. Especially not in this current meta.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to fix. I mean, we're already in summer. There's not likely going to be any new major acquisitions or changes that are going to come in that turn this team around, which is very, very interesting.
The big one was supposed to be Viper, and I can say he's definitely helping in his role. I mean, Viper and Lehens are playing well. Just the team around them is not. They don't really seem to have much support, even after getting early leads for their lane.
나가는 중, 우리 나가는 중.
한 타만 빼.
살렸어.
라카 밀어냈어.
살렸어.
그냥 싸우면 돼. 싸우면 강이죠. 잘 높여. 잘 궁은 있어.
네. 자야 너프린데
자, 잘 몰아냈어. 자야.
얘들 2초 밑에
나줘.
오케이. 근데
끝내버려. 나줘.
거드라야, 그거 어차피.
뭐야?
아, 나도
Someone
알
is saying
거지롱.
give it to me, and there's Cougar, actually.
간다이.
It's like, why did you give me the kill? What the hell?
다 승리에 남자 해놨지?
난 꿀벌. 꿀벌로 가. 화난 꿀벌로 와서 그러면.
나는 귀여운 꿀벌.
화난 꿀벌로 가자.
하나, 둘, 셋.
They're talking about which emotes to use,
Nice.
actually. They're talking about the honeybee.
Wow.
And they were kind of, you know, they were on the same page there.
This was, I mean, Rich, he outdamaged his entire team. Wow. Okay, well,
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, he actually did.
Maybe,
Wow.
I mean, obviously, we're not privy to that information prior to the player of the game vote, but I actually thought, I mean, I gave the player of the game vote to Beyond. Just because removing Talia from the game, saving Rich twice.
I don't know about that Talia, man.
Yeah,
that was...
So he bailed Rich out twice. He also helped Rich throughout the laning phase at several points, gave Rich the Herald to get all the turret plates too.
Yeah.
Felt really integral. I mean, his pillar as well, trapping them at the key part, but... Alright, well.
Turns out the guy that does the big shots with the big guns and the big DPS, he is going to pick up the player of the game. As, yeah, I mean, at this point, he was just unbelievably fed. And
Right there, I mean, he's stationary.
he's shooting, yeah.
Yeah. Locked into animation, I have no idea. And this one, just pay attention to the Talia wall, but also Cube clicking away with, I don't even know, 1700 HP?
Nimbus Cloak saving Beyond there. As after he flashes, he's quite fast.
It was looking like Lava was going to live. I mean, if you just watch all the team fights, not just this one, but ones from previous games as well, everything just really seems very lost.
Yeah, they're not really playing together as a team. Top side of the map still struggling a lot in their lanes, as well as, you know, just across the board. So it's hard to watch. I mean, there's a lot of guys up there on the top side that have been playing for a while and haven't really found the success that they've had in the past. So looks like, guys, though, we do have the interview ready. Let's listen in. I'll hand it over to Jason.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with the translation, and let's hear from Kuzan and Rich from Dynamics. How do you feel, Kuzan? I'm happy that we got a clean win 2-0 here today. Our next opponent will be another strong team, so we will do our best and come back even stronger. Yeah, I mean, they're going to face CRX in the upcoming series. What about you, Rich? It's a big relief that we got 2-0 win because we have a very tough schedule coming up. We're going to be taking on a lot of strong points, but I'm happy that we're able to stack up a lot of win points in the early of the split. Kaisa and Nautilus once again from Hanwha Live Esports. They are still holding to this calm. Were you guys ready for that?
미리 바이퍼 선수가 카이사를 되게 좋아하는 걸로 알고 있어가지고
Because we had this information that Viper prefers Kaisa a lot, so we kind of knew it. At the same time, I don't really kind of interfere too much about their draft on the bot side, so I just like trusted our bot laners. Kuzan, you also played a lot of fantastic performance at Azir today. Do you want to be the Azir on the next opponent title? I mean, I would rather want Lissandra. Yeah, that is one of his signature picks, right? Question over to Rich. With this POG, you tied at the top of the POG standings with Mystic. 400 POG points. I never imagined this at all. Well, it's only a temporary number one, but still it feels awesome. Today, well, Hanwha Live Esports players, they are like putting a lot of effort to shut you down. But you're like dodging all the skills in the bot lane skirmish. How did you do that? Well, we were going for the Volibear, and then we saw Rakan. So I was just like trying to sidestep away from it, somehow I just pulled it off. Game number 2. We saw a very unconventional draft coming out of Hanwha Live Esports. Why do you think the theme of their combo? You don't really know?
세계도 관심 없겠습니까? 이건 아니죠. 진짜 관심 없나? 네, 말씀해 주세요.
So what did you think about their comp? Maybe Rich has better comment about this.
리치가 말씀해 주셔도 괜찮습니다.
Volibear, Talia, this comp? I guess they were trying to do something similar to the Renekton and Talia, using that CC and then engage with Talia. So they were trying to put a lot of pressure around the top side, but it's a huge relief that I was able to survive all through all their attempts. Another question about Guger's Galio support. Is that because Galio is a good champion, or is that because Guger is confident in that pick? Guger has a lot of confidence in that pick, Galio, and every time we play it, we have a good result.
팀 다이나믹스는 왜 이렇게 뭔가 해주고 싶은 사람들이 많아요, 회사가?
We had another good news for Team Dynamics, another sponsor coming in. The news just got released. And now an ice cream company will be one of your sponsors. What is the charming point of Team Dynamics? What have you guys done? Every company is just trying to sponsor you. I think the people who work for our team. They're doing their job really well. I mean, the players, they're playing really hard.
일을 잘하신다.
네.
Other staffs are doing their
이게
role
관심을
perfectly.
막 받고 있잖아요. 확실히 LCK 올라온 다음에 리치
Dynamics,
그런
you guys
부분에
are
대해서 후원해 주시는 분들
getting a
계시면
lot of
이렇게 한 말씀
attention
해주신다면?
since you guys joined the LCK. Is there any message you would like to say to your sponsors? We are a new LCK team, so I really appreciate all the sponsorships from all the different companies. So, and we will do our best to make it up to all the expectation around us.
뭐 쉽진 않겠습니다만 또 모르죠. 3승 1패, 4승 1패 찍을 수 있을지 끝으로 한번
And what's your
말씀드릴게요.
mindset going into your upcoming series?
초비 선수랑 붙게 되는데
I'll be going
되게 제가
up
생각했던
against Chovi,
들 중에 제일 잘한다고 생각하는
the
선수여서
player that I think
정말
the
열심히
best in LCK
해가지고
currently.
경기에 임해야 될 것 같아요.
Hence, I will practice really
본인
hard
나이죠.
for that
그러니까
series.
가장 중요하겠죠. 알겠습니다. 오늘 승리 다시 한번
Once
축하드리고요.
again,
다음
congratulations
기회를
on the
파이팅
win.
부탁드리겠습니다.
And this will
다시
be
한번
the end of the
축하드립니다.
interview with
감사합니다.
Kuz and Rich from Team
네.
Dynamics, and I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you, G-Sun, for the wonderful translation. Good to hear from the guys there in the interview. And cool to see that Kuzan considers Chovy the best player currently in the LCK, so you and Kuzan have something in common there, I suppose, LS. As we're taking a look at the standings here, Team Dynamics and Hanwha Life, the first couple of teams to play 4 games that you guys can see here.
Yeah.
Team Dynamics looking really strong so far.
Yeah, and Dynamics, right now they're in second, but again, they do have the 4 games played, so we'll have to see. Obviously, their match there are a couple of matches that are coming up are going to be very important for them. And DRX still remaining in the top right now, and it's unlikely that anyone's really going to take them down because they've already gotten through Gen.G and T1.
yeah.
So it's hard to imagine them being moved from their first place slot. Next match is gonna be SP versus Gen.G and Damwon versus KT. And so this will really help solidify Damwon. Whereas Gen.G, that should be a pretty easy matchup for them.
Yeah, you would expect Sato and Prince. I feel like Gen.G will be one of the harder teams for them, though.
Yep.
Up against Ruler, I think they can effectively neutralize Hybrid. But either way, guys, we're going to have a quick closing here tonight. Thanks for watching once again, and we will see you tomorrow for more LCK.
And I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark